Thank you.
Mhm.
Chef AJ, can you share your thoughts on the concept of cheat days in the context of a whole food plant-based diet?
Well, I think I was asked this during my presentation. I was saying, I think that cheat days in a diet is probably as successful as cheat days in a marriage, or at least for most marriages. I don't think it's such a great idea. I guess it depends what your goals are. But, I always think about Dr. Clapper, who has a famous line, "Your body is never not looking." And so, do you want to live your life with what you can get away with or what is optimal? And the way I see it, Stephen, is once you've neuroadapted, in other words, most people are addicted to the standard American diet or junk food, vegan diet, sugar, fat, and salt. But once you neuroadapt to a diet of whole natural foods without oil and with minimal or no salt and sugar, you enjoy your food as much as you used to, but there's a period of time. It could take several weeks to several months till that happens. And so the problem with cheat days is, you have a foot in both worlds, and eventually you fall. You can't. It's very hard to navigate, because then you never really enjoy either diet, because you learn to enjoy the subtler taste of the whole natural food, but then when you have the junk food, it's like it's hyper palatable and it bangs on your brain. And so I think for most people, especially people that have a health problem, that are overweight, that want to lose weight, or that suffer from food addictions, I think it's a terrible idea. Learn to love the food that loves you back. And then every day is a treat day. I just did a 15 recipe cooking demo for this conference about an hour and a half ago. And I mean, I made amazing, delicious recipes. So I think of them as treats, not cheats. So I think for most people, a cheat day is a bad idea, but I guess there are people maybe that can get away with it. But again, your body's not looking. So that doesn't mean you're not getting harm from that, So if you're an addict, though, I think cheat days are off the table.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Karthik, how do you balance optimism with realism in advocating for a future that significantly reduces or eliminates meat consumption?
Yeah, so my optimism comes from just understanding the physics of how, we have to feed all this material to this intermediary in the form of animals in order to get this final food. I think any engineer who's actually looking at the numbers will just be aghast at how inefficient this is and wonder, why we wouldn't be able to do better. So that's where my optimism comes from. In terms of my realism, I would say that that comes with actually having worked in the space. And one of the unfortunate things is animal agriculture has had a huge head start. So they've had decades compared to, especially thinking about the vegan food movement. And that's all to say that in the long run, we'll eventually get there. We'll eventually be able to do better. And yeah, so just being able to know that we can get there, and then also to have the experience of to know that it's hard but doable. That's how I balance the optimism and realism.